Buddy, I think you guys opened the second half on an 18-4 run. What was the message from the coaching staff at halftime?
We just know we let the game get away from us. We let gas off. We didn't apply any more pressure. We just didn't play with force at the end of the second quarter. And I think the guys know if we just apply the pressure we were doing earlier, we can like break this thing open. When JK was able to use Steph as a weapon and be able to get a couple back doors, made some wide open threes, get us going. And then Jimmy was going downhill and getting to the free throw line and stopping and setting our defense. And once he be able to set our defense, I feel like we're better. And Draymond quarterback and Steph being Steph, and we getting stops, man. That's what we did mostly, is get stops.
When Jimmy gets to the line 16 times in a game, what does that do beyond just the points?
It sets our defense, of course. And also, I think that no NBA team wants to go against a set defense because everybody know what you're doing, basically. It just comes down to making and missing and the pressure applying. But he does that. 16 times is very impressive. But also put points on the board for us and hopefully slows down the Lakers, slows down Luka, Austin. Even though he had 43 points, you make him have to work hard all night and keep those other guys with rhythm.
Buddy, the preseason was one thing, but what does it say about Steve trusting Will Richard this much in his regular season opener as a rookie?
I think when you come to Warriors, everybody's gonna get a chance for sure. Like, Steve lets him play. And Will's season, he's a national champion. He's played. He's 22 years old. He understands how to play. He understands how to win, and we all trust him. Steve trusts him, of course, and that's all that matters. And now, when you're out there, we all a group. We're gonna teach him as vets, and he's gonna learn. He's gonna mess up sometimes, but with rookies, perfect. And we're happy for him. I tell him to go there, have fun, and he actually made a big three in the corner for us, and I was able to seal the deal for us.
Buddy, back here, you mentioned playing with force, and it seems like Jonathan brings a unique kind of force that maybe no one else in the team has.
He's elite.
So how much difference do you see in him this year? Because not just that force getting to the hoop, but creating passes, getting rebounds, doing other things.
JK is one of those guys that he's probably one of the best in the world, other than LeBron, Anthony Edwards. He's one of the best all-world in transition, especially when the ball going downhill. And this summer, I think he did an initiative just making reads, and he have his group that he has with him, and I watch his Instagram all the time, and he's making reads and it's translated to practice, and he had a great training camp and great preseasons, and just going to keep translating. He's been working with Jimmy, and Jimmy's been helping him, and it's perfect for him because idolize this game after someone like Jimmy, and it's a long season. We can keep getting better. Some halves can look bad, but he delivered in the second half, and that's all we asked him to do, be him. Being that big brother mentality, just taking down after practice, and them two down on the court together, just working out, and he's learning from Jimmy. Jimmy's talking to him, which read he's making, which read not to make, and it's helping. And they have a great relationship that they've been working on, and it's good for our team.
But can you describe your relationship with Jimmy?
You can't figure it out already?
Like, is there anything that we don't already know about?
I just don't like him. Simple as that. Nah, Jimmy's cool, man. You know that, as you've seen. Jimmy's cool. Like I said, he's been that spark for his team, and like I said, he just brings the unique vibe that every team needs, and we can't ask much for that.
But being on the team with such veterans, you're talking legendary type guys, Hall of Famer type guys with a Hall of Fame coach, playing and a coaching career with all the rings. Steve Kerr has. Where do you fit at this point in your career? Mentally, where are you at as far as being an integral piece to hopefully getting this franchise their fifth Larry O'Brien in this run they've had?
Okay, just being myself, actually. You can't be like those guys. You just know that. You come into a place like this, you can't be the head honcho. Right? Who's ready to head honcho? You just gotta be yourself and find your way and be a sponge too. Learn from those guys because what they've done in the past 10 years is phenomenal. To this league, and everybody been watching them, and all I can do is be a sponge and learn. And when I'm in the court, just learn my spots. And every day I'm learning something different, and just be that guy to help them get to the next championship. Be the elite store face I need to be, and when opportunities come, just be efficient and try to be successful in those moments. Yes, sir.
Rick Barry's stat, the 16 of 16 from the free throw line is, up there with, best Warriors performance ever. How big was that aspect of tonight? What he did at
Oh, it's huge. And it was the reason we became a good team last year. As soon as we got him, he provides that stability, the ability to get fouled and go to the line and settle the game down. He never turns the ball over. So he just controls the game out there for us. And we need that. We've always been at our best when we can, provide the support for Draymond and Steph's chaos with some stability. That's what Andre did, Sean Livingston, because the chaos is really powerful, but it can also get away from us. And Jimmy just settles us down, and thought he did a great job of that tonight.
Hey, Steve. Obviously, Jimmy's perception took a hit last season. And then as soon as he got here, he said his joy returned. He said he felt at home. Why do you think he has been such a good fit with this team?
Really because he complements Steph and Draymond so well. What I just mentioned, the not only the free throws but the ball security. We've been a high turnover team for a long time, and so we need that his ability to settle down. And when you can get to the line like that, it puts a ton of pressure on your opponent, and on the nights when you maybe don't have the offensive flow, to be able to rely on that is huge.
Steve, you went to the Steph and Jimmy pick and roll, except where Jimmy's the ball handler and Steph the screener. What made that so effective, especially late in the game?
Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler made that effective. Two of the best players in the league, and you do that because you don't want to turn it over. You want to run some clock, and you want to get a good shot. So you put your two best players in the play, and both guys made big shots, big plays. And I thought Jonathan's offensive rebound was kind of the play of the night for me, just sealing the game with that extra possession that we scored on.
Steve, you've been pleased with Jonathan's play for a few weeks now. What do you think has gotten him into such a solid rhythm early here?
I think he's really, really matured. He's had a great camp. We've had some really good conversations. I think he has a better understanding of, what we need. You saw in the first half, he took a couple of tough mid-range fadeaways that we don't want. He immediately held up his hand. He realized, that was not the shot. He had, a couple turnovers where he drove into traffic, and second half starts, and the whole talk at halftime was, let's use Steph Curry, let's use his movement and put pressure on the defense, and because we didn't do that in the first half. And Jonathan, the first few plays of the third quarter, it was beautiful. He screened for Steph, slipped to the rim. Draymond got him a bucket. We ran our split cut stuff. They both went with Steph. He hit the wide open three. I think he just has a better sense of what's needed now compared to past years, and I think Jimmy has really helped him too. Jimmy has really talked to him a lot during camp. He's taken him aside after practices, and I think Jonathan is. You got to remember he just turned 23. So I talk about this a lot, but. He's basically, he played 8 games in the G League bubble, then came to us basically as like a freshman in college. That's how I looked at it. And so a lot of the players today just don't get the same experience, reps that they did years ago. And for him, it hasn't been easy to find minutes on our team. And I'm really proud of him for staying with it and really maturing. And it's a great start for him and for us.
Hey, Steve, over here to your right. First game out of the box, you may not be exactly sure what it's going to look like. How close did this come to what you had hoped to see?
Second half is what we're hoping for. 6 turnovers, really good flow offensively, ball movement to force the defense to react. That's the team we're looking for. The defense I thought was great in the first half, other than a few fouls. But Draymond was just a monster, guarding the whole court in that first half. It was amazing to watch. But second half, that's how it has to look for us with the ball security and the movement, and Jimmy and Steph, playing through those guys and everybody else kind of filling their roles.
Steve, following up on Nick's question about Jonathan, it seemed like you mentioned the tip rebound late in the game, but also seemed like a few times he used his speed and strength to make a pass that maybe he wouldn't have made. And it seems like he's making quicker decisions, which is something you're always harping on.
Yeah.
How much is that part of his game essential to sort of what you need? And
yeah, it's a big deal. It's a decision-making sport, and all 5 guys are going to touch the ball, and they all have to make decisions. And as I said, our decision-making in the first half was poor, and second half it was much better. Our spacing was better, and J.K. made some really big plays and took care of the ball and was in the right spots, and it was an impressive performance.
Steve, back to Jimmy. What are the things he does that puts him in the position to make the right play, whether it's finishing or getting to the foul line?
Just incredible strength, physical strength, and incredible fundamental base. 4 years at Marquette. I think it was I know he played 4 years of college. I think it was all at Marquette, but fundamentally sound, and then crafty. You saw Luka drawing fouls left and right. Jimmy's out there doing the same. When you're that strong and that fundamentally sound, and you have that big of a brain like Luka and Jimmy do, you just constantly are finding angles and creating contact where it's a foul on the defense. And not many guys can do that in the league, but both those guys tonight did it beautifully.
We know you've been a fan of Will Richard this preseason and training camp, but at what point did you know that you could trust him to play real rotation minutes?
I think it was after the first couple of exhibition games that he played in. The first week of camp, we're just installing stuff. We didn't really get a great look. And then, a couple of exhibition games, you just see him constantly making the right cut, being in the right place at the right time, like he was on that late clock offensive rebound that he scored on. Was that his first NBA hoop? I don't know. Maybe it was, but we gave him the game ball afterwards, for his first hoop. And I told him that, and I think it was his first NBA hoop, but I told the guys that usually I know when it's somebody's first hoop, and I make sure we get the ball from the officials right away. I completely forgot tonight, and I told the guys the reason I forgot is because Will looks like he's in his 7th year. He doesn't look like a rookie out there. And we eventually tracked the ball down, and he got it. So great night for Will. It was fun.
Steve, what made the spacing between Jimmy, Jonathan, and Draymond so much more effective tonight compared to some of the issues last season with that?
Well, I'm going to have to look at the tape. I didn't think the spacing was good at all in the first half. Second half was much better. I think we kind of have our spots that we have to get to when Jimmy is in isolation, and I think we did a better job of that in the second half. But and the ball movement, if you don't have spacing, if you can execute and get the ball moving side to side, that opens up possibilities too.
Steve, at least from the outside looking in, I think there were some questions when Jimmy came here, whether Jimmy and Draymond would mesh personality-wise. Seems like that has not been an issue at all. If anything, the opposite has happened. What have you seen behind the scenes from their chemistry and their relationship?
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the great competitors in the league. So being on the same team, I think they love competing together, It's just impressive to watch just how competitive, how physically tough, how smart they are, just making the right reads at both ends over and over. They're loving playing together for sure.
Just how do you think, just in general, the starters looked, and then to kind of follow on that, totally different look on Thursday with Denver. Do you anticipate going with this look again, or maybe Al in the starting lineup? Just how do you?
Yeah, possibly Al. I mean, it's, what I've told you guys last week is I don't want Draymond starting at the 82 nights. So there will be nights where we start bigger, and we'll figure that out.
Quinton Post reveals what Stephen Curry did that mattered more than scoring. Quinton Post is quickly becoming one of the most intriguing young talents on the Golden State Warriors roster. In his rookie season, he quietly made a name for himself, shooting an impressive 40.8% from three-point range and averaging 8.1 points per game. As a modern stretch big, he's carved out a valuable role in the Warriors rotation, and he's not done yet. During the preseason, Post continued to show his offensive potential, especially in a standout performance against the Portland Trail Blazers where he dropped 16 points, including 3 three-pointers. But when asked about his recent success, Post didn't take the credit for himself. Instead, he pointed to one major factor: Stephen Curry. "What you saw out there, that's just the effect of having Steph Curry on the floor," Post said. "He makes everything so much easier for everyone on offense. And defensively, I think we handled things much better than the last time we faced them." The game marked Curry's return after missing the previous matchup against the Lakers. And he didn't disappoint, putting up 28 points and leading the Warriors to a 118-111 win over Portland. "This was a big statement game for him," Post added. "He sat out last game, and then came back and just took over. He said something before tip-off that really stuck with me. But more than anything, it's his leadership, the way he sets the tone, that makes the biggest difference." While Curry leads the way offensively, Post is focused on improving where it really matters for his position: rebounding. Despite his offensive contributions, Post pulled down only 2 defensive rebounds in the game. Not enough, he admits, for a player in his role. "We did a better job controlling the pace, but we still had too many turnovers. And on defense, I'm not even sure what the rebounding numbers were. I just know I need to be better. That's my priority right now, becoming a more effective rebounder." Last season, Post faced criticism for his defensive inconsistency. He knows that if he wants to keep growing and solidify his role long-term, that's the area he has to improve. Fortunately, he's not doing it alone. With the mentorship of Al Horford, who shares a similar playing style as a stretch 5, Post is in the right environment to evolve. If he continues to develop, especially on the defensive end, Quinton Post could be a key piece in the Warriors' rotation for years to come. And with Steph Curry leading by example, he's got one of the best blueprints in the game to learn from. But what makes Post's comments so striking isn't just his humility, it's the deeper acknowledgement of how Stephen Curry continues to reshape the game without always needing to light up the scoreboard. For a young player like Post, recognizing the power of Curry's off-ball move, leadership, and court gravity shows a level of maturity that's catching the attention of coaches and analysts alike. Internally, sources close to the team say the coaching staff has been impressed with Post's approach during training camp. While his shooting numbers draw the headlines, it's his willingness to learn and take ownership of his weakness, like rebounding and defensive, that's earned him growing respect in the locker room. In particular, his openness about needing to improve on the glass has resonated with veterans like Draymond Green and Kevin Looney, who have both taken on mentoring roles with him in recent weeks. During practices, Post has been seen working closely with assistant coaches focusing on boxing out drills, rebounding reads, and interior footwork, a sign that he's committed to rounding out his game. Outside of the Warriors camp, Post's preseason performance and his comments about Curry sparked interest across NBA media. Analysts on national shows highlighted the quote about Curry making everything easier, using it as yet another example of the intangible impact the two-time MVP has on his teammates. Former players and commentators have also pointed out that this kind of awareness, especially from a rookie, is rare, and could signal that Post has the mindset to stick in the league. "You don't hear a lot of young bigs talking like that," said one analyst during a post-game breakdown. "He understands the game beyond just stats." That's huge. Looking ahead, the Warriors see Post as a potential long-term piece, someone who can eventually fill a similar role to Al Horford, a smart, versatile big who stretches the floor, moves the ball, and plays within the system. If he can elevate his rebounding and improve his defensive reads, he may even find himself closing games down the line. For now, though, Post remains focused on the next step. "There's still so much I need to work on," he said after the win over Portland. "But being around guys like Steph, Draymond, Looney. It's helping me grow faster. I just want to keep earning my minutes. As the regular season approaches, all eyes will be on whether Post can carry his preseason momentum into meaningful games. And if he does, with Curry still drawing defenders and opening lanes, the Warriors might have found a valuable new weapon hiding in plain sight.